So here we are getting ready for this Royal Automobile Club TT Celebration, the 1 hour race with 2 drivers for each car and some superstar drivers once again. The RAC TT Celebration is underway. Oh no, we've got a car off already, number 25.
My name's Nick Sleep and I'm racing a Shelby Cobra. Yeah, it's a 1963 Shelby Cobra. It's known as the Hairy Canary. It won a race in 1963 at the Hawaiian Grand Prix. The first owner is a guy called Dick Neal. He had one of the Mark I Cobras. The car we're racing tomorrow is a Mark II Cobra. He had a Mark I Cobra and lived on the east coast of the States and was driving the car to Hawaii. Just got a new job in Hawaii. I was driving it to the west coast, going to catch the boat, put it on a boat in LA, and it kept breaking down. And he got so fed up with it, he put it on a flatbed and shipped it to Carroll Shelby in LA. And he caught a plane, and he gave it to Carroll Shelby and said, "Look at this. Goddamn thing doesn't work." And he said, "What you want, boy? You want the new upgrade, which is the Mark II." So he managed to upsell him the Hairy Canary, which had a bigger engine and better steering, and put him on the Shelby America driver training program. And he was assisted by Carroll Shelby for 5 years or so. They gave him advice on brakes and tires. And there's a lovely document. We've got a little letter where Al Dowd, who runs Shelby America, writes back to Dick and says, "Look, we recommend these brakes and these tires, and Ken Miles. I'm away in Europe for 12 weeks, but Ken Miles will be around. He'd love to talk to you if you've got any problems." So, about 2 months later was the Hawaiian Grand Prix, which both cars were at. So the question was, did he meet Ken Miles? And I can't find any pictures. I've got no evidence, but it's a nice thought that he might have done, isn't it? So anyhow, that's the car, and it was raced. It was raced a lot in Hawaii, and then was brought to the west coast of the States and was raced in the west coast of the States.
Can you tell us a bit about your teammate for the weekend?
Jacques. Yeah, Jacques. Well, what can I say? He's a Formula One world champion.
Well, I'm Jacques Villeneuve, F1 champion '97 and IndyCar as well, Indy 500, and I'll be racing a Cobra this weekend in the TT, which is amazing. You know, big engine car. That's the first time I'll be racing here at the Revival, so I will discover the track, which is quite cool. I've played it online a little bit, on the computer, and it's got a good rhythm. It seems like a fun track, intense with good rhythm. So I'm excited to discover it in a real race car.
We did a race at Brands Hatch. We had a bump with another competitor, and a guy called Nick Fimbra does the most fantastic work, reshaped the back of the aluminium bodywork, and we got the car ready for a race, the first 6-hour race in the UK for many years, which was at Donington in July, but we didn't have time really to spray it. So the car was just like is yellow and then bare metal in a corner. And I thought it'd be quite fun to get some big plasters made up and stick it. So I've got those as a cross on the bare metal work, just for the fun of it. That was in July, and we got the car back. We're doing a little bit of racing, and I said to Craig, "Look, I've got a little window here. I might be able to get it painted in time for the Revival, but it's a bit 50-50, and we're meant to be testing as well. And but so can I just bring it as it is, okay, as it looks?" He went, "Don't touch it. Just don't touch it. It looks great." So anyhow, so you have to forgive me because the car's yellow, and then we've got this corner that hasn't been finished yet. So. We can't really do anything with the engine. The engine's the engine, and the engine's provided by Steve Roy, who does the most fantastic job. He does the work on he does the engines for the Mustang as well, and these are very, very similar engines. So the only thing we've done is Goodwood has its own spec in terms of anti-roll bar thickness at the front and so on. So we run the car all year on that Goodwood spec, actually, because it's just too much hassle to keep changing things, and it would make a difference if I was a better driver, but I'm not a better driver, so I might as well keep it on the Goodwood settings. So we've done nothing. We start with the Goodwood setting, and then, you know, if we're on Avons, which is a different type of tyre, we might have changed things, but not for Dunlop L sections. We just leave it.
I've been to Goodwood before in the Festival of Speed, which is a very different weekend and atmosphere, but very exciting as well. But I like the idea of going back to the roots of racing, and this is what we have here at the Revival. I've never been in that kind of historic cars. I've driven some old Formula Ones, but that's very different. They're very light and solid cars, so it's a little bit different than these big saloon cars to drive. So I guess a little bit like NASCAR. I don't know. That's what I have to figure out. I've always been a big fan of American muscle cars from the 60s. So it falls in that bag. You know, I grew up. My dad had a big Mustang. I had a Mustang when I was younger, from the 60s, a Boss, and Corvettes as well. And I've always wanted to drive a Cobra. So. But I never got a chance. But that was only driving on the road. So to be able to drive a Cobra on the racetrack, now that's super exciting.
Well, it's Goodwood, isn't it? I mean, it's the whole Goodwood thing. So. It's the big race. They're fast cars. They're valuable cars. You're in with a whole bunch of stars. You know, it's a blessing and an honour to be part of that. And for me personally, I watched it with my father for years, and that's something really lovely about them racing in it yourself. You know, and. You know, Dad might not necessarily spot the car all the time. You can spot the yellow one, and so the yellow one, it's kind of dead easy, Dad. You know, you won't miss me as I come through Woodcote. There's lots going on with Goodwood and the TT. So yeah.
I love racing in general. Whatever category, whatever era, racing is just fun. This is what drives me. That's the blood I have running in my veins. It's racing blood, so it's great. But also there's so much history here, and it's great when you get behind the wheel of a car from that era, on the track also from the era, and you try to put yourself in the skin of the drivers and the people back then and what they were going through, because that's the technology they knew, that's what they were pushing, and that's what I find very interesting. Well, we don't get a lot of practice laps, so I just hope it's dry, because learning a track in a car like that when it's raining makes it very difficult. So it's good to at least get one session in the dry to learn, to figure out what the track is, then it can rain.
What are your thoughts ahead of the first practice session?
At the moment, does Jack fit? We haven't got him in the car yet. I'm nearly 6 foot, and I'm nearly 6 foot, and Jack's a bit smaller. But the car, we can't really move the seat because it bolts down to the chassis, so there's not much discretion there. So we're going to have to try and pad him out a little bit. But we got Simona in the car last year, so I think it's doable. We just need to do that and him be comfortable, and then know that whatever we put him in is not going to move, and it's going to be safe for him.
Yeah, we need to practice the driver chain, but that shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, I've done them in WEC and Le Mans, where you have to do it fast. Here, I think there's a little bit more of a gap, so it shouldn't be an issue.
The Cobra is a bit of a handful, and it's not going to be the best conditions for it. So I'm just getting through and enjoying it. I think that has to be job 1, 2, and 3, doesn't it? Really, not trying to come first, second, and third.
As the cars are just heading out onto the circuit now for the RACT first qualifying. Alice Powell is with me. Alice, we're going to be enjoying 2 qualifying sessions over the course of the weekend, and then the big race itself taking place at 2:30 on Sunday, and actually John Watson will be joining us for you and I for that one as well. John will be part of our commentary team from tomorrow, but it's going to be lovely to look forward to because there are some beautiful cars, some great drivers, as we've already seen from chatting to a couple of them. And Jacques Villeneuve are sharing this one, and as we were hearing from Jacques, you know, he's still got to get used to the circuit because he's not actually raced here before, and it's lovely that Jacques is getting into that side of things.
Yeah, he's coming in the pits to make a driver change by the looks of it, down in 24th place at the moment, known as the Hairy Canary, and it's actually it's on the rear end of the car. We might get a shot of it going in. It should say Hairy Canary on the back. There we go, it does. And the roof of this car is actually signed by Shelby, and this is the car's 17th TT race, and there's the busy pit lane that I was talking about. Try and pick where to pull in, find your team if you can, and if you can pull in, because if plenty of cars come in at once, it does get pretty crowded, as you can see there.
Interestingly, the Franchitti Smith cars just set a fastest third sector, but actually didn't go higher than third in the list at the moment. So we shall see if that does change. But yeah, I think we're going to see a few more improvements. So Jacques Villeneuve is getting into that car now. So this is going to be really interesting to see how he gets on with it, because as he says, he's still got plenty to learn about driving around this Goodwood circuit. But talking about the Goodwood track in terms of the layout and what you're trying to do, it's quite some fast corners, quite some serious double apex corners, aren't they? I mean, that first Madgwick corner, that's always, you've got a brake going into it, but it's a quick corner. Then you've got that flat out forward water right-hander, St Mary's, the right-left.
There's a lot of free play, so when you turn, it takes time for the car to react. So just need to adapt to that. I'm used to cars that react very quickly, so it takes a few laps to, turn the wheel, nothing happens, and then it turns. So you think, okay, you need to change the mindset on how to arrive in the corner and brake and make sure that you're not in the way of everyone that's already up to speed.
Yeah, we're talking through gears and corners, yeah. And he's got, we realised we've padded him out, okay, because I'm taller than he is. And the pads that we've given him are a bit soft. So he's going backwards away from the steering wheel, away from the pedals. So we're trying now, I think, to put in some thicker, stronger pads that will hold him where somewhere where he's happy. It's horrible. If you don't feel confident in the seat, it's a horrible thing. So yeah.
Do you think the fact that it's dry now and it's potentially going to be wet tomorrow?
Nightmare. I don't know. He'll probably do very well in the wet, actually, to be honest with you. because it's not about, it'll just be instinctive feel, which is probably very, very good. So yeah. So anyhow, yeah. So no, we're looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be good. Good fun.
Here we are then getting all ready for the second qualifying to take place for the RAC TT, the big race that will be taking place on Sunday at 2:30 in the afternoon. And I'm very pleased to say that John Watson has joined me, a former Grand Prix racer and commentator. We've worked together many, many years, John. It's lovely to be here at the Revival, and here we are enjoying one of the last qualifying practice sessions of the weekend, actually, because we are going to be getting very much more into racing. We've just seen an entertaining race in the Goodwood Trophy, but this is the final qualifying session for the RAC TT, because they ran yesterday as well.
There's a car that looked wobbly yesterday. This is the AC Cobra, the yellow. This is the car that Jacques Villeneuve is driving, and Jacques learning Goodwood is more than just going on to some simulator and saying, oh yeah, that looks easy. Yeah, 4 borders flat. Well, actually, it's not flat until you work out precisely how your car and the racetrack come together.
Wet. I mean, very wet. So there was no point in trying to beat yesterday's lap times because you're never going to go there. So I kind of treated it as like a car handling course, and just try and get the car slightly out of shape in each corner and then hold it there if you can, as best you can, and just enjoy it as sort of a way of learning about the car in the wet, more than it being anything about, you know, you definitely don't want to go barreling into a corner and understeer in this. And it's very, very sensitive, so a little bit of steering goes a long way. So Jacques came in and said the car's undrivable because it's got the anti-roll bar connected, which it shouldn't have, given how much wet we had. So we had the wrong setup towards the end. I mean, it kept raining, didn't it? So that's what happened. It was just miserable. But actually, to be honest, I kind of enjoyed it. You know, it's quite nice getting the car drifting a little bit and just having it moving around underneath you. It's a nice sensation. So the couple of times on Lavant where you try to tip it in, and then it just keeps going, and oh, for goodness sakes, I've got to stop this. So there's a couple of times where you're not quite going to spin, but that's where you're heading. I didn't actually spin, which is good, but that's what the next stage is. That car keeps going round. and it was okay.
So here we are getting ready for this Royal Automobile Club TT Celebration, the 1 hour race with 2 drivers for each car and some superstar drivers once again, and a wonderful mix of machinery as well that we are looking forward to seeing, the closed cockpit GT and selected prototypes in spirit of the RAC TT. And we're looking at the cars heading out already. We're going to get this race underway just a little bit earlier as well. There is a chance of rain coming, but not just yet. So let's get the race going, and then we can see sometimes a bit of rain can make a change to the race, of course. It's going to be a fun one to see.
Well, it's race day. I was a bit busy working on the seat and old-fashioned, tape and pieces of rubber everywhere. And, just make sure I can touch the pedals, the wheel, because that was an issue in practice. And just hope it doesn't rain, because it's a handful in the rain. I still need to learn the track, so a few laps on dry would be fantastic. But at least the seating will be a little bit better, so it should be a lot of fun.
Then it is an amazing grid, some beautiful cars. If you think what these are worth, don't worry, think about it now. Just concentrate on the racing. We're waiting for the flag to come down. We're nearly there. The RAC TT Celebration is underway. Brilliant start from that pole position. Oh no, we've got a car off already, number 25. That's the Carl Tilley car that will be shared by Jake Hill. Another car off on the side as well. In number 24 it is the Jacques Tetley, Alex Buncombe car that's gone off. Well, that's a great shame, because we've had some pretty clean starts so far, Alex, but it didn't quite work. But look at the lead that's developed already.
It's great, and actually the Shed and Assam Cobra got a great launch. You could just see it going up the inside there. So they started down in 6th place, and it looks like they could already be into 4th place. Yes, they go through the first part of St Mary's.
Wow, remarkable, but what a great start by Ollie Bryan. He's opened up a big advantage so far.
safety car has been deployed. Oh, dear me. So there is...
Driver's okay.
Is that one of the Tajeros?
Yeah, it's the Tajero 40E Coupe. Yeah, it is, and it's Afshin Fatemi who's had the crash. It would have been shared by Jean-Eric Verne, and oh, that is a great shame, because we've only got the two Tajeros in this race. A rare machine. Let's have a look, guys, at what happened. See what. Oh,
again, coming through Ford water, and just ran wide, and the car got onto the grass, and then just nosedived into the tyre wall, the rubber strap that bailed, so the car rotated. All the energy, fortunately, was dissipated, and you can see drivers out of the car. He will certainly feel the impact of that later in the day and tomorrow, but safety car had to be deployed to remove the Trujillo to safety before we can continue racing.
well, the rain is definitely falling now. The wind is picking up, but the cars will be soon heading off behind the safety car. So you can see they're being lined up right now, actually. Here we go then. We are getting all set for the restart, and it's another brilliant start by Ollie Bryant, the man who took it from pole position. And it's also a great start from Andrew Bentley, who's coming through on the inside there. Yeah, there you are looking at Jacques Villeneuve, talking about Jacques. There, it's fun to see him out there, and he's getting his first experience really this weekend of everything. But he's very relaxed and enjoying. He was chatting to a friend, a guy who works with us, Peter, a friend of mine, and they were chatting together yesterday. And he said Jacques so relaxed, his wife with him this weekend, and he's really enjoying just being part of Goodwood.
Yes, it's a new experience. Jacques, of course, a world champion in 1997 and winning IndyCar and whatever.
I got to know the track. Now halfway to the stint it was good, but I'm sitting low, so I'm below the wiper. So anytime I was following a car, it was completely no visibility. So that was a little bit tough, but otherwise it was good. Got there to the end, didn't crash, happy.
The first part in the drive was great. We started 27th. I think we're up to about 15th or so. And then it was the red flag, and it started raining. We're all sitting on the start-finish straight, didn't it? And as we started again, I thought, okay, the car's now getting quite slippery, and it's probably a time to do a driver change, take the anti-roll bar off. And that's when Jacques took over, and then the heavens just opened, didn't they? So, but we're really, really pleased. I mean, that's, you know, we were able to take half the field in the first bit of that race. We're delighted with that. We're sort of doing things a little bit on the hoof because we haven't had any testing. So sorting out the seats, sorting out all this stuff, you know. So we've been doing there's just been lots of things to do on the fly, and it's worked out really well. And we came 19th. I'm delighted with that. You know, I mean, it's not. I mean, most people aren't bothered by 19th. I'm really delighted. So.
I'd like to do more laps in the dry to really get to know the track, but at least, you know, I was a bit worried when it started raining. But it worked out in the end, so that was okay.
I've got my daughters over there watching. I mean, just fantastic.
I saw you wave to your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how was that moment for you?
They're lovely, absolutely lovely. I thought it might be them, and then they were their brollies and stuff. And I just loved to catch their eye. It's so special. You know, it's a privilege to do this. It's a privilege to be here and do this. So it just makes your heart sing, doesn't it?
Have you had a chance to chat to your dad about him seeing you in the car?
Yeah, we had breakfast this morning, and I said, Dad, look, it's the yellow one. You can't miss me. You know, you should be able to spot this one, Pops. It's that one. And so he's just really excited. And we talked about how we'd come here in the 90s, and he'd sort of, you know, we'd watched it together, and it's sort of a bit special to, you know, 20 years later or so, to be actually racing, and you know, it's a bit lovely.